Welcome to this series of videos related to research methods in health profession education. In this series of videos, we will go together through the process of doing research in health profession education. We will start with writing research proposal, and then we will go through the steps of doing research in health profession education till end with publication or publishing your research. My name is Muhammad Hassan Taha. I am medical educationist at University of Sharjah, Director of Medical Education Center, as well as the coordinator of the Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education and PhD in Health Profession Education. In today's session, we will be talking about writing research proposal in health profession education. And this session is designed intentionally for our Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education. So the concepts delivered in this presentation is particularly for students in our Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education. The second video in this series will be about writing research proposal generally, and could be the concept that will be delivered in the second series of the video will be suitable for any research proposal at the level of the master or PhD in health profession education. So for the Master of Leadership in Health Profession Education, there are 9 requirements for the proposal with the word count 2,000 plus or minus 10. The 9 requirements in the research proposal are the title, overview of proposed change, aim and objective, the change process, evaluation, impact and implication, potential limitation, Gantt chart, and finally the reference, which will be at the end. It's very important to start with the title, and for a research proposal, the title must be concise and must convey the nature of the change proposed and the context where the evaluation will take place, because you will do change management and then you evaluate your change as part of action research. And here are examples of well-formed title. For example, introduce problem-based learning in year 3 pharmacy students or at a hospital, or implementing structured feedback for clinical supervisor at a UAE medical college or a university. The second section of the proposal will be describing the organizational change, describing the current and future status, evidence for rationale, and your role in change. And these items is under overview of the proposed change. So the title, the first section, and then the second section will be overview of the proposed change. You have to start the overview of the proposed change with describing your organization. And when you describe your organization, it is not required to write the name of your organization. So keep it anonymous. You have to describe the setting and where the change will occur. Then you have to describe the current and the required future status. Here you describe what is happening now in your organization and what is the proposed change that you would like your organization to look like. The third part of this second section, which is overview of the proposed change, is to provide evidence for the rationale behind this change. And when we mention evidence here, we mentioned that you have to cite the literature and citation should take place. And you have to provide evidence from the organization. Maybe it could be data related to dissatisfaction, low engagement, any problem that is obvious through the data, or your observation as one of your organization. And the last section and the last part of this section, which is overview of the proposed change, you should describe your role in your organization and clarify your authority and introduce the change and who else will be responsible with you in leading this change, your team or the stakeholder that will be with you. So it's very important to describe your role among the stakeholder. Very important to think about the conceptual framework of your study. And the conceptual framework in medical education is defined as the argument that justify why this study is important and how this study will contribute to already known in the literature. And this conceptual framework should synthesize the literature, address the gap, and links the evidence to research questions, methodology, and expected outcomes. And here we are expecting to link your research to the body of the literature in terms of maybe learning theories, in terms of any best practices and how and what are the gaps and how your research will fill these gaps and so on. And as you can see in the diagram below, the literature review, it tells us what is known, and then you know the knowledge gaps, what is missing, and the conceptual framework plays within here and link between what is known, what is missing, and the research question, what to be asked, the methodology, what to be done, and the expected outcome. Following doing this section, which is overview of the proposed change, then we'll go to the aim and objective. In this program, the aim should state what change you are going to introduce. And the objective should state clearly why are you going to do this. So change, what change that you are going to do is the aim. And what are you and why are you going to do this change is the objective. Please read this guide carefully. In this guide, you will find detailed descriptions of the different sections of the proposal, as well as how to write the aim and how to write the objective. The next slides will give us example about the aim and objective in this research proposal. So the aim, what change you are going to introduce. For example, the aim could be introduce a problem-based learning methodology into the curriculum of year 3 pharmacy or in residency program. And the objectives are why you are going to introduce this. Maybe to increase student satisfaction, to increase retention of knowledge, to increase engagement, to decrease maybe number of the trainee attending the training program, to develop self-directed learning. And the objective should be SMART. As you can see here in the screen, there are dates in terms of month and year. So let's dive more to the objective. Objective should be SMART, and SMART here is for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded. Step 1, when you want to write objective in this research proposal for this master program, when selecting the objective, consider the following to help inform the focus of your objective. First thing, what are the triggers and driver for the change? What is the expected impact once the project is completed? Because as you can see in the previous slide, either reduction in error or in problem or increasing or engagement or satisfaction and so on. So the step 1, what are the trigger and the driver of change? Step 2, what is expected impact once the project is completed? Step 2, you can use the following template to help you to construct your objective. When, by, the end of, when, then who and what, specific, from, to, measurable. Let us see this in a practical way. So we have 2 steps. In step 1, we have 2 things to be considered. when selecting research proposal, when selecting the objective, you have to consider the triggers and the driver for change, and you have to consider what the impact of the research project that want to be completed. Then in the second step, you have to consider using the proposed template. Let us see this template in practice. Here example, by 24 of May 2014 maybe, or 2025 or 26, all grade 3/4 hospital staff who have attended the new training sessions will achieve a minimum post-training test score of 75%. This example show this SMART objective. Another example, if we look at the last one, by 22nd of April, the ward included with the surgical directorate will be 95% compliant with pre-operative protocol. So this example of the objective, SMART objective for this project. The key message here, the aim should address why this change is needed, and the objective should address what change that you want to introduce, and you should use this formula when writing the objective. Now let us come to the fourth section, which is the change process itself. As you know, we are using two change management models, but you have to discuss the other models and justify using these two models. We can use either senior and swell here in the left side, and we'll be discussing this model in detail, or the HSE model, as you can see here in the right side of the screen. The next section, which is the fifth section of the research proposal, should be evaluation. And the evaluation here, you have to write briefly about the evaluation models, and among them, you have to decide to choose and justify appropriate model that will be used in your proposal. And you have to link this model directly to the objective, which is about what change that you want to introduce. Then you have to write about the data collection, which could be quantitative or qualitative data collections, quantitative such as surveys or other tools, qualitative maybe focus group discussion, interviews, and so on, talking about their validity and their reliability of this data collection. Then you have to briefly talk about the analysis, which statistics that you are going to do if you are using quantitative data collection, or whether you are using thematic analysis or content analysis if you are doing qualitative data collection. Don't forget to write about the ethical consideration in the research proposal. And you have to address the ethics behind that you will consider in terms of protecting the participants, informed consent. And when you think about the research ethics, always think about the principles and values of research ethics. Also, you have to write about data protections and any potential conflict of interest. You have to declare it here in this section. Section number 6 is about the impact of the change. Then you should describe the dissemination plan and implication for practice. For the impact of the change, it could be at organizational level, and then you discuss the improvement and the benefit of this improvement you hope to achieve at your organization level, staff level, or learner level. Dissemination plan could be meeting with the stakeholder, or a conference, or a publication, or training workshop in which you disseminate this. Implication for practice could be related to educators, related to your staff, your team, the patient themselves, and the other stakeholders, and how this research might influence the other organization to follow the same, or you may come with the policy that could be communicated with your organization. It's very important in section number 7 to talk about the potential limitations. And limitations here, it is a methodological limitation. One of the limitations could be the generalizability and the transferability of your research. Maybe it could be because of single site, so that you cannot generalize it. You have to discuss the aspects. Could be apply with a similar other context that you couldn't address in your study here. Maybe you have to talk about the validity, internal validity in terms of the bias and validity related to the measurement tool that you have used and so on. You have to report about the bias, or if you have any limitation, maybe because of the sample size, small sample. You have also maybe to report limitations related to your role as a researcher, or if there is any conflict of interest because you are a researcher and you are part of the organization. Section number 8, you should make a clear Gantt chart, as you can see here. This is a hypothetical design for the Gantt chart. Maybe start with the research proposal, and then doing literature review, and then having your proposal approved, ethical application, stakeholder engagement. You start implementing the change, collecting the data related to this intervention, analyze the data, writing the report, then dissemination and submission of your research proposal. And you have to make this clear. We start in September and usually or in August, and you should be ready by April, inshallah. The last section will be about the reference. We are using the ABA style throughout the study. So you have to follow ABA style, and for the ABA style, in the reference list, it should be alphabetical. You have to cite carefully any resource, and minimum reference for a proposal should be 5 to 7, but we are expecting more than that. And please cite the recent articles, published articles, not all than 5 to 10 years maximum, unless they are a seminal article that you want to cite. So the general tips here: stay within 2,000 plus or minus 10, be concise. Keep the organization anonymous, no need to mention the name of your organization. Always link objective with evaluation and the impact. Use a smart template to draft your research proposal and to draft your research objective. And we have shown you this smart template and formula for designing and writing your research objective. Use this checklist for the title, for the overview, for the aim, for the model, for the evaluation models, organization impact, dissemination and practice implication, limitations, the Gantt chart, and the reference list. Finally, I encourage you to please read this guide carefully before writing your research proposal. I wish you a successful academic year ahead, and looking forward to see you soon on campus during the induction program and the first seminar in the second year of the program.